Greetings, and salutations, beautiful people in the beautiful world. It is me, he is I am him, Zach Latimer, Z-Lat, and welcome back to another segment of Right and Exact. Shots out to a new nation, shots out to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. You could be doing a lot of other things right now, but you are here with me, and I do appreciate that. Today, what I'm talking about and building on is juju, magic, manifestation, something that we're talking about right now on Enlightenment and Transformation, so I suggest you go over there and check it out. But magic, juju, huh? Juju in them streets, juju in them streets. Juju, do you got it? Is it in you? Huh? Some things that kind of help us out on this road to manifestation, and I'm going to talk about some things that kind of hinder us. And the first thing, that magic is nothing more than removing obstacles out of your way, removing these things that can hold you up. You just remove them out of your way. That's all magic is, all right? Now, as Chief explained, or described in, I think it was the first segment, that you have to, when one wants to manifest, you have to operate from a pure conscious. And pure conscious is where one is removing time and space. And if you can remove time and space, then you're removing the dualities. And if you're removing dualities, then that's when one is operating from a pure conscious. I have not mastered this. I am still working on that. I am still fighting with time, because time seems to be fighting with me. At least so that is what I've created in my mind. But when one wants to remove this, then that's when one is operating from a pure conscious, right? So what can start to hurt us from when we want to start manifesting and creating? Well, overthinking. Overthinking is so, like, is this going to be right? Is that going to be right? You adding up everything that can go wrong. You adding up all this and out. And at the end of the day, you look and you haven't done absolutely nothing. All right? You don't know what's going to go right. You don't know what's going to go wrong. But at the end of the day, you got to make a move. Just like if you ever played in the chess game and you sit there and you can study the board and you can study it all day long, but eventually you got to make a move. And regardless of what move you make, it can either put you in a situation that could be a little sticky, or it could put you in a situation that's going to better your next move. But you don't know until the other person moves. And that's when you have faith in yourself that you can work it out, okay? But at the end of the day, you got to make a move. Just like if you ask anybody if they started anything in their life, and they say, you ask them, man, when you first started that, did you know exactly what you were doing? I had no clue what I was doing, but the journey of 1,000 steps first takes what? A step. Stop overthinking. Things are not going to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect, and when things are perfect, then guess what? They're dying. So you don't want to be perfect. You want to keep working on your craft. And then the next thing is, don't be afraid to make that mistake. You start to make mistakes, that's what's going to happen, but you got to learn from that mistake. You learn from that mistake, and then you grow from that mistake, so you don't keep repeating that cycle. Because if you keep repeating that cycle, then that would be the definition of insanity, and we don't want to be insane. So what we have to do then is learn from the mistakes that we've made and then build on them. So what we can start to do now then is shift and remove some of these obstacles that we have. We have to think of what we are saying on a day-to-day basis. This word power, man, is solid. You have to remove some of these words that you're using on a day-to-day basis. So even if you're saying, you're looking for a mate and you say, man, I'm so lonely. That word itself, lonely, has a vibration to it. It has power behind it that's putting you in a state of mind. So when you start to go work your magic, you feel like you ain't got it. But if you change that word lonely and you say, okay, let's say I'm available, well, now what? How do you start to move? How do you start to walk? How do you start to talk? How do you start to dress? You start to just move a whole lot different when you start to change the words. You remove an obstacle. You start to work your juju, right? But you just have to change the word. And then when you change the word, then you start to move different. So you got to be, even when Chief was talking about it, I think in one of the Chief speaks, when he was saying that Oya women can be sometimes, he was like hard to deal with, but he didn't use that. He said they can be cantankerous. Oh man. I say, what? I got to look that up. But see, that word has a whole different vibration. It's not putting me in a state of losing power. It's putting me in a, now I got it. And when you look at even in these, I think Kevin Hart said it in this movie, 40-year-old version, you're using a lot of words that I don't understand, so I'm going to take them as a sign of disrespect, right? Some people can take it like that, but at the end of the day, it's a whole different vibration that the word has to it. So just change the word up, okay? And when you start to work your magic, then what you have to know is anything that you do, anything that you want to start to create, anything that you want to manifest, you got to have faith. You got to know that when you step out, and you got to know that when you start to go do whatever it is that you put your mind to do, whatever thing that you want to manifest, you got to know that it's going to work even if you can't see it. You got to know that if you walk outside in this rain, you can make it stop. You can make the rain disappear. You know, and funny thing is, I was riding with my nephew who was 2 at the time. And he was like, man, I want to go to the park, and it was raining. And I was like, we all was like, you can't go. It's raining outside. And he's like, oh, don't worry, I'll make it stop. I got superpowers. Stop, rain. And a piece of me was like, man, you can't make the rain stop. But then who am I to tell him what he can and can't do? Who am I to put my limitations on him? Don't let other people put their limitations on you. You got to know that whatever it is that you go to manifest, whatever it is that you set your mind to do, that you are going to get it done. And again, that takes us back to removing that time and space. But a lot of times we see that, well, it ain't work because I've been at this for forever. I don't care how long it takes. If I put my mind to it, then I'm going to do it. You got to be able to say that this is going to get done. You got to have faith, and you got to get it done and put your heart into it. And anytime you put your heart into something, your body will follow. Everything else will follow, but you got to put your heart into it. All right? I will that you got something out of this. I will that you have a wonderful day. If you want to get deeper into this, you can go to Enlightenment Transformation. Holla at Chief. He'll take you all the way there. If you want to holla at me, I'm on Instagram, Zach Latimer, ZACHLATIMER. And until next time, I'm out. Deuces.